America, a land of dreams and endless opportunities. But behind the glittering skyline and the bustling streets, there are cities that are facing unprecedented challenges. Environmental disasters, infrastructure breakdowns, and social crises have pushed these cities to the brink of collapse. Today, we bring you the stories of 10 American cities that experts warn are nearing disaster. Let this be a wake up call, a lesson for us all. Number 1, Miami, Florida. Miami, known for its breathtaking beaches, vibrant culture, and nightlife, is now teetering on the edge of a climate catastrophe. Rising sea levels are swallowing the city's coastline year by year. Experts predict that entire neighborhoods could be underwater within decades. The constant threat of hurricanes grows stronger with each passing season. The city's infrastructure is struggling to keep up. Roads and bridges are already deteriorating under the strain of flooding, and with rising temperatures and sinking land, Miami's future hangs in the balance. Will this iconic city survive the test of time? In addition to climate challenges, Miami is dealing with overdevelopment and urban sprawl. Increased building and population growth are putting further strain on resources and the environment. Environmental activists argue that aggressive action is needed to preserve what remains of the city's natural beauty and resilience. Many parts of Miami are becoming increasingly unaffordable, and as wealth gaps widen, social inequality continues to grow, with certain neighborhoods left to suffer while others thrive. Miami is faced with the challenge of balancing its economic growth with the urgent need for sustainable planning. Number 2, Detroit, Michigan. Once the backbone of the American economy, Detroit has become a symbol of decline. The population has plummeted from 1.8 million in the 1950s to under 700,000 today. The collapse of the auto industry left thousands jobless, triggering a ripple effect across the city. But that's not all. Crime rates have soared, and abandoned neighborhoods paint a haunting picture of a city in distress. Experts warn that without significant investment in jobs, education, and safety, Detroit may face an even darker future. Detroit's government has been struggling with a massive budget deficit, resulting in reduced public services and a lack of investment in infrastructure. This has further driven businesses away, and many residents have lost faith in the city's ability to recover. Despite efforts to rejuvenate the downtown area, areas outside the city center are still plagued by poverty and crime. For Detroit to truly recover, a long-term strategy focusing on economic diversification, education reform, and community development is essential. Number 3, Las Vegas, Nevada. Bright lights, bustling casinos, and endless entertainment, Las Vegas has always been a desert oasis. But now it faces a crisis of survival. Water shortages from the dwindling Colorado River threaten the city's very existence. Rising temperatures make life unbearable for residents, and the tourism industry, the lifeline of Vegas, is at risk as resources dwindle and costs rise. Can the City of Lights overcome these growing shadows? Water consumption in Las Vegas is unsustainable, with the city using much more than it can replenish from nearby sources. As climate change accelerates, the water supply crisis grows, leading to fears of drastic restrictions and rationing. Moreover, Las Vegas faces an economic slowdown as its dependence on tourism leaves it vulnerable to global market fluctuations, political instability, and even pandemics. As the cost of living rises, many residents are being priced out of the market, forcing them to consider leaving for more affordable areas. Number 4, New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans, a city rich in culture and music, has become a hotspot for natural disasters. Hurricane Katrina was a wake-up call, but the threat of powerful hurricanes continues to loom. The city is also sinking inch by inch, making it even more vulnerable to rising sea levels. Experts say New Orleans needs urgent action to strengthen flood defenses and adopt eco-friendly policies. Without it, this historic city could face irreversible damage. New Orleans is increasingly threatened by coastal erosion, which is further exacerbating the damage from severe storms. The city's aging infrastructure can't keep pace with these natural forces, making its recovery after each disaster even harder. Meanwhile, social inequality remains a challenge as a large portion of the population is still struggling to rebuild after previous floods. The city's resilience is being tested, and its ability to recover fully depends on concerted efforts to improve its infrastructure, climate response, and social systems. Number 5, Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, the Windy City, is facing storms of its own. Flooding from Lake Michigan's unpredictable water levels poses a growing threat. Meanwhile, economic inequality has fueled unemployment and skyrocketing crime rates. Housing costs are on the rise and basic services are struggling to keep up. Experts warn that unless these challenges are addressed, Chicago's vibrant energy may begin to fade. With a large portion of its population facing poverty, Chicago is struggling to address the gap between its wealthy and working-class communities. While some neighborhoods experience rapid gentrification, others face disinvestment, leaving behind empty storefronts and abandoned homes. The city's aging public transportation system, strained healthcare facilities, and failing education system have made life difficult for many residents, adding to the sense that Chicago may be losing its competitive edge. The city's future will depend on a unified effort to modernize its infrastructure while addressing social inequality. Number 6, St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis, a city of rich history and iconic architecture, is struggling to stay afloat. Unemployment and poverty have taken hold, leading to a spike in crime. Entire communities are moving away, leaving behind empty streets and abandoned buildings. Experts caution that without a clear economic recovery plan, St. Louis could face a future of further decline. The city's infrastructure is crumbling, and its neighborhoods are increasingly blighted as businesses and residents relocate to suburban areas. Additionally, an increasing number of children are growing up in areas of high poverty with limited access to quality education and health care. St. Louis has seen a rise in gang-related violence, and city leaders are under pressure to find ways to address the root causes of crime while revitalizing its communities. The future of St. Louis hinges on effective urban renewal strategies and addressing systemic inequalities. Number 7, San Francisco, California. San Francisco, a global hub of technology and culture, is facing monumental challenges. Housing costs have soared beyond the reach of most residents, forcing many to leave. Homelessness is at an all-time high, and the city is situated precariously on the San Andreas Fault. One major earthquake could bring unimaginable destruction. Despite its innovations, San Francisco's future hangs by a thread. The tech boom has made San Francisco one of the wealthiest cities in the country, but it has also exacerbated the affordability crisis, with working-class families being pushed out. Meanwhile, the city's housing policies have failed to address the growing demand for affordable housing. Moreover, the looming threat of a devastating earthquake is ever present. The city has been taking steps to strengthen its buildings, but a major disaster could still leave the city vulnerable to collapse. San Francisco's survival depends on finding a balance between economic growth and ensuring that all residents can live safely and comfortably. Number 8, Phoenix, Arizona. In Phoenix, the heat is becoming unbearable. Climate change has made the city a hotspot, literally, with rising temperatures threatening daily life. Water is scarce, and the city's reliance on agriculture is becoming unsustainable. Experts warn that without drastic measures to conserve water, Phoenix could soon become unlivable. Phoenix faces some of the most extreme temperature rises in the country, with summer heat regularly topping 110 degrees Fahrenheit. This relentless heat is not only uncomfortable but also hazardous to public health. The city's already strained water resources are stretched thin, with water shortages affecting both urban and agricultural sectors. Unless immediate action is taken to address water conservation and urban heat island effects, Phoenix may soon face an existential crisis. Number 9, Seattle, Washington. Seattle, surrounded by natural beauty, faces mounting environmental and social challenges. A rapidly growing population has strained infrastructure to its limits. Intense rainfall and storms are leading to frequent flooding, and the number of homeless residents continues to rise. Seattle must act swiftly to protect its environment and provide for its people, or it risks losing its reputation as a city of opportunity. Rapid urban development has caused overcrowding in many parts of the city. As more people move to Seattle in search of opportunity, affordable housing becomes scarcer and congestion grows. Meanwhile, the city has struggled to manage the impacts of climate change, with increasing stormwater runoff and environmental degradation. If the city does not act quickly to address these pressing issues, it may soon find itself at a breaking point. Number 10, New York City, New York. New York City, the heartbeat of America, is grappling with a perfect storm of issues. Hurricanes and heat waves are taking a toll on the city's infrastructure. Sky-high living costs are forcing families to leave in search of affordable housing, and with a growing population, resources are stretched thin. Can the city that never sleeps rise above these challenges, or is it heading for a reckoning? New York's streets, bridges, and buildings are old and in desperate need of repair. The growing frequency of extreme weather events has placed unprecedented pressure on the city's infrastructure, particularly the subway and transportation systems. Additionally, the city's homelessness crisis has worsened in recent years as high housing costs push more families onto the streets. New York's future depends on the city's ability to maintain its vital services while investing in long-term climate resilience strategies.